Smoked chicken thighs, often referred to as the best bite on the entire chicken. I mean, take a look at these guys. Today, I'm gonna show you how to make them. Let's get into it. What's up, barbecue fans? My name is Jake, and today we're doing some chicken thighs. Check out these guys. Now, to be honest, I've never cooked chicken thighs on the channel whatsoever. In fact, I don't actually cook them that much. I typically go for the whole chicken, or I am a breast guy, so I do a lot of breasts. But lots of people love a well-cooked, well-smoked chicken thigh. So today, we're gonna knock that out for you. Recently, in fact, for me, it was just a few minutes ago, but recently I did a whole chicken video, and I used an approach, and near the end of that video I said, listen, if you just cook these at 275, you could also go that way. That's what we're doing here. Let's get these guys out of the package. These things are packaged quite well. Normally you can just get the edge here. This is like, you know, when you push record, you can never peel the membrane off of ribs. Now I can't even get the chicken open. All right, let's just do it that way. There we go, all right. Man, that was testing my patience, let me tell you. So we've got some chicken thighs here. We'll pull them out and we'll have a look at them first off. And one of the things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave that right there. And the first thing we're gonna do is just kind of trim off some of this extra fat. Skin, we don't need that. And I mean, there's a big old flap there. Not something we need. That one looks okay. Little piece of bone right where we're gonna bite through. And again, look, if we look at the back here, we've got a whole bunch of skin here. Make sure you got a sharp knife and just cut it right off. It's not really gonna help. And look, if you wanted to, you could absolutely and very easily, you know what, we're gonna shift gears. We're gonna just take this out. All right, might as well show you while we're here. I never ever cook chicken thighs by themselves, to be honest. This is probably one of 3 times I've actually done it. But we can just trim along this bone a little bit here, and we can take this guy out, leaving a lot of the meat. Look, you're gonna pay somebody to trim this bone out. Don't do that, do it yourself. This takes a sharp knife and a little bit of patience. There we go. Now this is a boneless thigh video. It's not supposed to be. Does it matter? I don't think so. Let's see what we got here. One more. Just going along the bone here. Having a super sharp knife is very handy. 2 done. And we'll take some skin off here. All right, now we got them all done. Full transparency, that's what my channel's all about. I have never cut the bone out on thighs before, but I figured we'd show you in real time. If I can do it on the fly on video, you guys can do it as well. So what we want to do here is, these are pretty small breasts, right? These are organic breasts, but we want to see if we can get some of the skin back here. I think what I'll do is I'll get on another pair of gloves and we'll try and pull some skin back here. Here we go. The goal here is to pull back our skin so we can season the meat without tearing the skin. And you're gonna find a spot here that peels back a little easier. And don't worry, when we're done with these will look a lot better, but there we go. There we go. Now we've got all of our meat exposed. Now what we're gonna do is we're taking our Yoder chicken rub. This is sweet with a little bit of heat, and it is darn tasty. I use it a fair amount, so we're gonna put a heavy coating on the bottom underneath that skin, right on the meat. Beautiful. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna drape the skin over. So what we're doing here is we're going to roll these guys up a little bit, right? So now we've got our skin covering the entire part. And again, we're gonna roll this inside like so. Make us a little care package, right? You wanna keep them together because then they'll cook a lot more evenly. Take this little piece of skin off there. Man, I'm so happy the warm weather is back, but like the flies got the word that spring was here, and they're back in full force as well. All right, so here's how we're going to cook these guys. We're gonna make sure our skin is nice and covered and our meat is bunched up so we get as even of cooking as possible. Now we'll take this guy back off. And because we want to make sure we get some crispy skin, we are going to use a little bit of oil on these guys. Maybe a little bit more than a little. That'll help crisp up that skin. And then what we're going to do is we're going to roll these guys over. I think we'll spread out the meat a little bit now that we're on the back side. Make sure we get lots of seasoning in there. I forgot to season the underside of the skin, but if you've got the patience there, you can do that as well. But I mean, we put a fair amount just on the meat, so the skin's going to get some no matter what. These guys are going to pack a flavor punch, let me tell you. Reminds me of a favorite saying when I was a kid. I'm going to knock you the F out. When you wake up, your clothes will be out of style. Kids. Anyhow, so we're going to roll this over like so, and we're going to go back to right how we were. Okay? Make sure our meat is all nice and covered up and protected by our skin, which we want to get super crispy. These are going to be good, I can tell already. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a nice heavy coating on the outside again. Dun, 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 dun. And because we want some crispy skin, we'll give it a quick extra spray just to hold that seasoning in place and add some of that crispiness. Make sure it's perfect. Beautiful. So our Yoder is rolling at 275. We got some Bear Mountain hickory pellets in there. We're gonna put these guys on the bottom rack. I cleaned it up nice. Listen, one little side tip. If you got a bunch of crud on your grates, it's kind of acts as like an insulator. So you're really, you're adding a level of separation between the grates and the meat, and you don't get kind of that charring that we're looking for. You want some of that heat transfer. So let's put these guys on our grill grate. Now it's all been nice and cleaned up. So what we're gonna do here is we're actually gonna put these just off to the side of the firebox. I don't wanna cook the underside too quickly. I wanna have time for the skin to render out. And actually what I'm gonna do is there's two that are larger, so I'm gonna put these right here, closer to the heat, and those guys on that side. Now if you messed up a spot, don't be afraid to add just a hair more. Put that back in there, give this a little spray again. Perfect. Let's close this guy up. So we're about 28 minutes in. We're gonna call an audible. These are organic chicken thighs and they are quite small. So we're at about 160 right now. Our skin is looking okay, but not quite where we want it yet. And because our temperatures are so high, we're gonna help them along. So one of the beautiful things about a Yoder is that the firebox is right here and the diffuser plate is at its highest point, so you can get a lot of radiant heat there. I love to cook chicken breast right over top of the firebox. It gets that grilled effect and crisp up the skin. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna roll these guys over, and now we're gonna take advantage of some of the radiant heat from this firebox and crisp up that skin. And I would imagine probably maybe 8 minutes. The other thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna dial this up to like 400. Doesn't really matter. What's gonna happen now is we're going to feed some pellets in there, but we're also gonna give it a head start. So we're going to push our bottom button here. Got grease on my finger here. We're gonna push it once and you can see it says prime there. So now I'm gonna hold this for about 10 seconds. It's probably not gonna come across on the microphone, but we're actually telling it to feed extra pellets in there. Yeah, it's not gonna come across in the microphone. But I can hear it adding a whole bunch of pellets there. And now what we're doing is we're priming that firebox. Once those get going, we're gonna have a nice fire there that's gonna be a little larger than where we were at. It's just gonna help crisp up that skin a little quicker. So in only about 6 minutes, you can see the smoke. We're running hot. We're already at 340. But we've got that crispiness we're looking for. A little bit of extra color. That one got a little hot. That one got charred. That one's good. There you go. We got one that got away from us. The other ones are not too bad. I'm gonna pull them away here. Let me bring our camera over here so you can actually see what I'm doing. A lot nicer when you can see what we're talking about here. So this guy is not too bad. I mean, it can't quite pick it up. It's a slippery little sucker. That skin is nice and crunchy. It is a little dark. I was playing on Instagram, to be honest. But we're gonna be okay. This one definitely got charred, but the other ones are pretty darn good. We're gonna take some barbecue sauce, sauce this guy up. You know, when you burn something like this back one here, that's the chef's one. Everybody else gets the other ones. That's always been the rule around my house. If you burn it, you eat it. The other ones actually are not too bad at all. And this sauce is not gonna take too long to tack up because we're so hot. Sauce some of the extra so it does tack up. And we're gonna give these guys like 3 minutes. So it's been 3 minutes. These guys are right around 175, so I definitely wanna pull them off. Let's see where we're at here. 174, 175 right there. So they're right at the top. So I'm gonna pull them off and I'll let them, the heat, residual heat will help them tack up even a little bit more. Oh, almost dropped that guy. It ruined my skin. There we go. So I'm not sure how they're gonna come across on camera. It is 37-mile-an-hour gust right now. So I can't have my lights out here, but they are pretty good except for the one I burnt. We're honest on this channel about all my cooking. If I burned it, I'm gonna say I burned it. So I burned that one, but the other ones are actually pretty good shape. We pulled them off at 175, and all we're gonna do now is we're gonna let them rest for about 10 minutes, and then we'll bring them back out and give them a try. And now, my favorite time of the day, we get to try these out. Now these are definitely gonna be a little saucy. So I'm gonna make a mess on camera, but unfortunately with the light, it's not really gonna come across. These are not nearly as dark as they look. They are actually red, but they look and smell delicious. Now, if you've done these right, you should be able to bite through the skin, so we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, a little bit of cartilage I missed there when I trimmed out the bone, but I'll tell you what, overall, these are pretty darn tasty. Really happy with the way they turned out. Even chewing with that sauce being on in 15 minutes, I got some crunch of that skin, so you know we did a good job there outside of the one burnt one. But if I was to do these again, I would change one little thing, and what I would do is I would keep it at 275, but I think around that 150 mark, instead of 160 where I did it at, I would roll them over on top of the fire plate where the firebox is there and let them crisp up, and I wouldn't dial it up as hard because you want it to render out a little longer. We rendered out pretty quick and we got a little dark. If you did a little slower, I think you'd get even better results. But if you tried these, I think you'd be pretty darn happy with them. Hopefully you got some value out of this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed yet, why the hell not? Click that down there. Thanks as always for watching. I'll see you soon.